I'm gonna be real with you guys. I did not expect Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richards to be the book I couldn't stop thinking about this month, but here we are. I read a couple of romance books recently, and while they were good, I was waiting for a great one to come along, and I fear that's what Let's Kiss and Tell really is. So today, I'm gonna talk about what it's about, what I loved, and whether it's worth picking up. So let's get right into it. All right, you guys, if you are on the side of Bookstagram that I am on, you will see this book literally plastered everywhere. Everybody I know loved Joss Richards' debut novel, and they were so excited to get their hands on this one. That being said, I have not read It's Different This Time by Joss Richards. I hate to say it, it has been on hold on Libby for so long for me, and I haven't experienced it yet. But now I can't wait. I also knew who Joss Richards was from an event I went to at the Ripped Bodice. And you know, it was one of those moments where like, I hadn't read her books yet, but it turned into okay, now your books are on my radar and I can't wait to read them. And then I was scrolling through NetGalley one day, and honestly, I never expect to get accepted for anything, but somehow I'm not complaining, but I keep getting accepted for ARC reading. I am not an ARC reader, but apparently your girl's turning into one. I requested Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richards just for funsies, and I got accepted, and I was shocked. That being said, I have to add in here, I'm more of an ARC reader now because I did ARC read another book this month. It was What Light Breaks by Falon Ballard, and guys, I have a full review of it in this video here, so please check it out here if you're interested in that. This is only going to be about Let's Kiss and Tell. All right, I'm gonna keep filming this video, but my light keeps dying, so you're in front of my mirror right now. It's a different angle. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep it being as, you know, aesthetic as it should be, but whatever. When I tell you guys that this book was my most unplanned 5-star read of the month, I am not even exaggerating. When I tell you, I didn't know if I would be approved for it. I didn't even get excited about getting this book until I got it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a reading vlog for Memorial Day weekend. I keep doing reading vlogs when I travel because they're fun for me, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do it for Memorial Day. It's such a quick turnaround. And then my flight gets canceled. And the train is sold out. There's no rental cars, nothing of the sorts. So my boyfriend and I ended up having to take a 7-hour Greyhound bus. So naturally, am I going to keep reading Heir of Fire? No. I picked up Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richards, and I'm so happy that I did. It was perfect for this situation. When I tell you I read half of this book without getting up once, mind you, I was being forced to not get up once because of, you know, the bus situation. But when I tell you that even if I could have gotten up, I probably wouldn't have. This book had me in shambles the entire time I was reading it. Everything about it, I enjoyed so much. I literally could not put it down. So our main character, Lucy, is a sex writer working for, I kind of got the vibe, it's like a cosmopolitan type of magazine where she's talking about both sex and relationships, but basically to be able to keep her job in the journalism field and at this publication, she has to be in a relationship. And as crazy as that sounds, basically, to put it in short, when you're a journalist, there's always going to be analytics dictating what you're writing. So for her editor is like, hey, I know you have this single, sexy, hookup thing going on right now. Your readers don't really want to read that. They want to read about being in a committed relationship. When you first came on, your articles were doing amazing, but now you kind of need to step up to the plate a little bit. So she literally has to be in a relationship to keep her job that she's had for 4 years. So then she ends up meeting Mr. Tall, dark and handsome Marsh. Now, Marsh is also a fellow writer, but he's a news writer, so it's a little bit different, but he's trying to pretty much rebuild his life after his most recent breakup. So after meeting, they both agree that they don't want anything serious, so naturally they decide to fake date for Lucy's job. And of course, they end up being too good at it I love this trope. If you don't love this trope, I don't think this is the book for you guys. Now, I can't say much else more because I can't give away any of the plot line in this video. And I also can't share direct quotes just because I don't know if people know this, but this is a rule with ARC reading. Because I'm reading an uncorrected proof, I can't actually like quote anything from the book. That being said, my favorite thing about this book, if I had to describe it in one word, was authenticity. I liked how down to earth both Lucy and Marsh felt. I also, I am a journalist, so I guess putting myself in Lucy's shoes wasn't too difficult for me. So for me, I was like, no, this is exactly what would happen. Like, to a T. I completely understand what's going on here. I also thought that they did a really good job of like actually getting to know each other. I have this like hater mentality for all of these books that have been coming out recently, where it's like the two main characters will be basically sleeping together before they get to know each other. And I'm like, hold on, guys. You guys just met. Like, how are you in this deep of a relationship? And like, mind you, that always leads to the miscommunication trope, which is fine. Like, I can deal with it, but it's not my favorite. I liked how this book kind of steered clear of that. And actually the characters felt like real people and felt like they had emotions and felt like there was stakes for them as well. I'm also just a sucker for the fake dating trope. So that kind of like hit a home run for me. Overall, I rate this book 5 stars, but I'm interested to know what everybody is thinking about it. Let me know in the comments down below. If you have ARC read it, also let me know that as well. I definitely would recommend it unless you're someone who's like, I cannot stand the fake dating trope, like go for it. I will say, like, I think that this book is kind of a love letter to LA, which is really, I live in New York, but I've been to LA before. I love how there's so many mentions of like real places and like going there for the first time and what it's like to move to that city and everything about that. I thought that that was really well done. Also knowing that Joss lives in LA because she mentioned it at this talk that I went to at the Ripped Bodice. I think that really connected the dots for me there. So definitely if you're going on a trip to LA, I suggest bringing this book with you. This book comes out on August 11th, 2026, so not too far away, which is crazy to say because I feel like yesterday it was January. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for it and pre-order it if you can. All right, and now we're gonna talk about the rest of the books that I read this month because guys, I wanted to change it up a little bit. You guys know I'm like the world's worst explainer when it comes to books. I like can't, you could threaten me and I still wouldn't be able to describe my favorite book to you. So I'm gonna tell you what books I read in May. I'm currently filming this on May 27th and TBH, I don't think I'm going to be finishing Heir of Fire anytime soon. Should I? Yes. Am I extremely, what's the word? I have no desire to do so. It's my commute book. I've been reading it slower. No desire, guys. So let's talk about what else I read this month. I go more in depth about a lot of these books in my previous vlog video. So I'm just gonna like spew out a bunch of stuff to you guys and you're just gonna write it down and put it in your TBR. Okay, got you. So I started out this month reading People Watching, and let me just tell you guys, I fear this video was almost about that book. Like, I have not read anything else by this author. I've heard amazing things about Out on a Limb, and I think that I should have listened to everybody when they told me to read Out on a Limb. This is actually like one of my favorite romance books I've read in a long time. That is not Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richards, because honestly, there's just like a spot in my heart for that one. Okay, up next, the next two I talked about in a separate vlog, but whatever. I have Something Wicked by Falon Ballard, and I also have What Light Breaks by Falon Ballard. Now, Something Wicked has been out for I think a year now, and What Light Breaks comes out at the end of this year. So Something Wicked is the first in the series, and What Light Breaks is the second. This is a romantasy series about this fictional country named Avon. And in book one, you get to experience how the country actually works. Basically, instead of like working like a normal king type of format and like the next in line gets the throne, apparently in Avon, you have to like kill the king to be able to be the next ruler, which personally, I don't know why they don't do it normally, but okay, sure. So yeah, these are two completely different books. They are the characters from book one do appear in book two, and you do have to read book one to not be confused in book two. I liked both of them. I think that book 1 was more smutty than book 2. That being said, book 1 was too smutty for me. I am not like an anti-smut person, but it was very smutty. Book 2, not as much. Book 2 I actually requested on NetGalley because it is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, and I love a good classical retelling. I didn't give you guys any ratings. So People Watching was 5 stars. Something Wicked was 4. And What Light Breaks was 5. Now, I really liked What Light Breaks. I arguably liked it more than the first book, but alas. Also mentioned in another video was Off Campus by Elle Kennedy. I have never read any sports romance until now. Well, actually, I read that one ski book, snowboard book around the Olympics, but I've never read like any traditionally published like sports romance. So this was like my one. Like I was excited to do it, and I especially was excited for my series about my adaptations of books to movies. So that video is actually out now, and you guys can go take a look at it here. But ultimately, I really liked the Deal book. I feel like, you know, I rated it 4 stars. I'm happy I did. I think I actually like am more on like the 3.5 scale for it. I liked how this book was more than just sports. I like how we barely saw any hockey. I honestly don't want to answer the question of whether I liked book Garrett and Hannah more than movie Garrett and Hannah. So I'm not going to. Am I going to continue the series? I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me doesn't want to read Logan's story though. So like, I haven't decided. Like if I'm going to, it'll be next month. But I honestly do not know. And then my last book of the month was Let's Kiss and Tell, which this video was obviously about. Let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know what you guys read in May. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into my video. And if you guys want to follow me on social media, I am Corey's Nail Diary, both here on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Please subscribe. I'm really trying to build up my channel. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Bye.